me take you back to the times when I was a kid, when I would sit around the table of my big, large family. I am the second oldest of 8, by the way. And we would have so many stories to share around the family dinner table. Food brought out the best conversations, the best laugh, and the greatest times. Here at Yes Chef Podcast, you will hear exactly that. Great guests bringing out the best of their life journeys, bringing out the best of themselves right here on Yes Chef Podcast. We will be sharing so much of our lives together because nothing better comes out of anything like a conversation around food. I want to invite you to the dinner table, to the village supper of Yes Chef Podcast. Join me here today and every day to participate in the family gathering. Let's eat. Welcome back to Yes Chef Podcast, the third episode of Yes Chef Podcast, and I'd like to welcome you to a wonderful, dynamic episode today. Today we have with us these very two energetic and yet charming beings, Keesha and Miesha. These two sisters are identical twins. It's a lot of energy going on in this podcast, so I want you to prepare yourself. Sit down and buckle your safety belts because you are in for a ride. Today we talk to Miesha and Keesha. These women are beautiful poets and community activists within our city and our community. We're going to be talking to these two today about the roles they play in society and also the new roles they have picked up in our foundation, Yes Chef Village. Keesha and Miesha are going to tell you a little bit about themselves as we engage in laughter, banter, and all-out fun. I hope you are ready for this episode this month. So, should we get ready? Yes, I think we're ready. And remember, this is the Yes Chef Podcast. So, let's eat. Here we are at Yes Chef episode 3, and I am enjoying the energy that has been happening pre-show right now. Today, I have here with me two of my favorite people in the whole wide world right now, and that is the twins. I know y'all been waiting. To hear from the twins because I've had a few people ask me about the twins. So who I have here with me right now, to my right, is the twin Keesha.
Keesha, twin one, Keesha King.
Keesha, did you come out first?
Yes, I did.
I could tell Keesha came out first because Keesha got a lot.
My foot came out first. My right foot. They had to push my ass back up and had a mercy
and turn
C-section.
you around.
They had a mercy C-section. So Miesha was underneath me.
And then to my left is so you saying your sister almost killed you?
Yeah.
Oh man. So and to my left we have here Miesha. Miesha, talk to them.
Hey everybody, I'm Miesha Brundridge, a local poet and activist and a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Listen, I want to go back to you saying you was about to come out first, right? So I could tell that you came out first because you are the more, the loving one. You're the more softer one. when Miesha's more like the hard one. And so when you meet the twins and you meet the Keesha and Mieshas of the world, listen, I'm gonna tell the truth today. Yeah. But we gonna tell the truth. You can talk.
Who really know who I am? Yeah, they know that. They know that I'm hardcore. It didn't have much to do with the military. I was a little hardcore before I went to the military.
But see, I was gonna go into that though.
Rough around the edges.
I was gonna go into that. Yeah,
I might be a little soft, but I have a thick backbone. After our grandmother passed, I've been upkeeping our family. And I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a doctor if needed. I'm a caretaker right now for my aunt who has dementia. She'll be 92 next week on the 31st. So I don't talk about everything what I'm going through, because you know what, like my grandma used to say, what it's gonna do? Can you help me? Nobody but God can. But moving forward, you know, we've been through a lot of experiences, and I love the community, and I love helping people, and that's what makes our heart go round. Well, mine actually, and that's why we do what we do.
You know, I could talk about I could say things like, you're the softer one, you're the harder one, but it does come from a place of love.
Yeah, we know.
I know
we
y'all,
just messing with
you know, and y'all mess with me, and I mess with y'all, but it's really all love. So, you know, we don't have to really discuss, like, you know, if you ever meet these two, you're really going to be meeting some beautiful people. I want to talk about, like, really how I met y'all. And it was at a show. It was at Studio 620, and you were curating the show there.
No, this show was surrounded by Black voices. So after A Beautiful Disaster came out, my first book, in 2018, Bob liked that we had so many different diverse people coming into the building. And so he, I think the person that was originally putting on poetry shows had passed previously, and he had been looking to try to fill that void. And then when we met, it was like, boom. And so I got involved with the poetry stuff at the studio. And then I had already been in the community, like popping into open mics, listening to people. So I would like vet people. And then somehow your name popped up. And then so when I met you, you was like, yeah, my name Marcus Clark. Mark my words, Clark. And so we just had a great friendship that has evolved over the last 5 years. You know, it's been that long.
Yeah, it's been. I know. It's been a minute. No, it's definitely been a minute. We're not even.
Shows at the Studio 620. We've done a lot of shows at the Studio 620, and we are now branching out and getting a lot of different speaking engagements, which I appreciate that. But it took a lot of footwork for people to get to know us. Yes, I'm from Polk County, but that wasn't my chosen home. My chosen home is St. Petersburg, Florida. So what I think is that the Studio 620, they were shocked that how diverse Miesha brought the crowd. The crowds were so diverse. And so, then they started handing her the event calendar. Hey, what you can do for next year, putting us on the agenda and stuff, because they saw that we can curate together, and that I was a hosting and like MC, and she was curating, and we were getting folk in line. And it was a show. We made a show every time. So.
I definitely know a thing about Studio 620. I've been around. I'm from St. Pete, and I know all about Studio 620. One thing I know about Studio 620 is right before y'all came on the scene, Studio 620 wasn't really doing all that good in a sense, like with events. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to tell the truth today. You know what I'm saying? And then y'all came around. Y'all really brought some life to that studio. Like people really started coming back to the studio.
Yeah, because they like
because of y'all.
Between us.
I think that
we serve the bar because we like doing that. But we love that. And maybe Bob eventually will give us a studio honor one day. Because we love that place. I love curating there. I love creating meaningful poetry events. My real opinion about poetry these days in local communities, I ain't gonna say nothing, but these surrounding areas, I feel like some people commercialize poetry and they don't go back to the traditional value of what poetry is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about observations, documentaries, you telling people things, helping them feel good, things like that. So that's where I feel the value of poetry goes.
Well, I think that I want to go right there with this. This is Yes Chef podcast, right? Where we talk about all things culture, community, and also commonwealth. Where we keep it, focus on a lot of the events y'all do. Y'all keep focus, and the central message is always focused on what we call the BIPOC, BIPOC. So the Black Indigenous people of color is like how y'all keep y'all messages and y'all poetry, y'all arts. Why do you? What makes you focus so deeply on that? Because you do bring a diverse crowd.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I like to talk about things that either hurt and heal the community. I like talking about Black pain. I grew up in a household with two parents who were drug addicts, and they would go to jail and prisons and things like that, and my grandmother raised us. So it's like when I wrote, it healed me. Like I was saying before on Creative Pinellas link the other day. It's a lot of value in words, and I think a lot of times the Black community try to hide that stuff. And at Toni Morrison, she would bring things out to light to talk about it. And when you put it in a show and make it so beautiful, like the shows I've done in the past, it just brings a highlight to it. It's like, let's just open the conversation and talk about these things. And so people have said that, my poetry is pain, but somehow I make beauty and lessons come out of that. And it's basically, that's just the point. Like, I think shows should not just you getting on the stage just showing, hey, this is my best poem. And I want it to be valuable to other people. So when I put shows on, I don't want to just be doing those slam poems and stuff, and then you leave the event and you have not learned anything from it. So that's what I'm saying about commercialized poetry.
I want to take it back real quick because we talked about Studio 620, and people may not have any context. Studio 620 is a venue space here, an art studio here, locally to us in St. Pete. It's like basically it's a virtual hub for us, home for. It's a creative space for poets, for musicians, for artists, for anybody inside the arts to come and really showcase their talent and their skills. Yeah. And that's been a space that's been around where I've done book signings from there. You did some book signings, some book talks there. Yeah. And that space birthed a lot of artists here at St. Pete. Held a lot, like that is really the home.
Yeah, so we always gotta give homage to it,
Yeah, we gotta pay homage.
Thank Bob for real for it. And the fact that the studio is a space that will always say yes. Like you don't have to worry about going to these other studios and they'll say, no, we can't really find a space for you. The studio, they're always going to try to find a spot. That's the model. Yeah, if it's not that month, they'll put you on the calendar for the following month or within that year. But you will get your yes, and you will be able to do whatever it is that your heart desires, creatively, theatrical, whatever. Comedian, one-man act show, they got it all over there.
So I want to break down real quick that Keesha and Miesha are both artists. They're poets, they're writers, they're educators. They are everywhere in the literally in the literacy space where they're writing, they're teaching, they're creating programs, they're creating movements that are helping this community of St. Pete. Miesha and Keesha both are just powerful people, two powerful sisters that a lot of people really do not know about so loudly. Like the names are not as loud, but in the art space, they own that. They own the art space here in St. Pete. And I'm been on board with them for a lot of events, and I want to talk a little bit more about the events that you curate, because I did say something about why do you keep it centered around Black Indigenous people of color, but what got you into curating, like, because that's a tall task to take on.
To get everybody together, to raffle them together, to do rehearsals, to email. I don't know. I like it. It's fun for me. It never came as like hard work for me. from a young age, middle school, I was writing poetry, and I had these fabulous ideas to like do shows like, like my own personal bridal parties. Like instead of getting married and stuff, I would have book parties, book release parties, and dazzle them up and stuff around books. I don't know, it's just fun. And a lot of times artists and poets, they don't have a lot of strength to want to put on all that. They just want to write and just get on stage. So I try to help people get behind the stage a little bit too, and use their skills as far as like if they're musicians, but they also are a writer. So I entwine everybody, like all the poets that I get, they either play an instrument, they do some art, they could do, that's how I was able to, with Selena, actually. Our favorite artist, she did for my first show, Harvest, she did live painting on the stage. And so that was beautiful. So I always try to like entwine other friends and poets of mine in my shows. So that's why it's like a group effort,
Talk about you now, Keesha. This is Keesha. Keesha, tell us like how you got into this, because see, this is the stereotypical thing people guess with twins, right? This is stereotypical people guess with twins. That twins are they do everything together, they dress together, they say things together. One thing I noticed about y'all is y'all definitely are in tune with each other's thoughts. Like when one of y'all are talking, the other one can finish what the person is saying.
We're spiritual people.
Yeah, intuitive.
Yeah, but y'all got that y'all got that ability to do that, and that's beautiful to see because it says a lot about y'all bond. But I want to know what makes y'all different, because y'all are identical or fraternal? Identical. So y'all are identical.
Okay.
Y'all are identical twins, but what sets y'all apart? What sets you apart from Miesha?
What sets me apart is that I am an individual who has my own brain. Yes, I do. Twins do have their own brain. We might share our brain sometime. And but the thing is, what makes me different is that I didn't really get into poetry as Miesha did. Miesha wrote all since the time our mother pushed her out the womb. She was already talking some poetry. She was writing when she started writing in English class and middle school. That's when high school came, and then she wrote that being a beautiful butterfly, something along that nature. That was when she started really coming out like, oh crap, people like my stuff. And then when I came back to doing me, I was always into like the outdoor stuff, hands-on stuff, art stuff. I'm the artistic person in arts and crafts, and I would sew things and all that kind of stuff because I was a quiet soul. But by God Almighty, I was outspoken though. So people couldn't cross me if they did something I didn't like. I was very outspoken in school. If other people disagreed to, some subject or topic that our teacher was talking about, I wasn't afraid to stand up and speak my opinion. And I'm still this day. And so that's what makes me a good MC also, I think, and then when I write poetry, it's more like a spoken word. Like, I don't just write every day. It's like I have to get a writer's block because I don't write as often as my sister does. But when I do write, I write about passionate stuff that I'm passionate about. And sometimes it might be tough. Like this new piece that I'm coming up with is a Tulsa series that I'm doing, and it's dear to my heart. If you want to look up the research and look at the town that we had, Black Hollywood, and it was destroyed. So it's going to be much more coming from Keesha King in that sense. So over the years, my sister has pulled me in, and I'm thankful for that because I was the shy one. I had a voice, and she knew I had a voice, but she was very patient with me, and she would pull me in. When she first did her show, I was kind of nervous with the MC thing, but she put me on it because she knew I was going to be good at it, and I didn't know that, but she saw that I had a gift. that I need to be also seen. And that's the thing with us, because we are competitive people, but we are not competitive with each other. We family. You can be competitive with family, but there's a certain limit. There can be a healthy competitive. So my sister and I, we love each other, and look, if she's doing good, I'm her cheerleader. I'm like, yes, sir, go ahead. You're doing it for the team. You're doing it for the family. And so a lot of people, they like, I love y'all sisterhood.
I know there's a lot of twins don't like each other. Super competitive, all kind of shit. Yeah. Yeah, and our mom used to try to do that. Our mom tried to put sometimes she'd be like, oh, Keesha, this and that. And I'd be over here on the other side because I'm always the hard and rough one because I hated hugs and then stuff. And Keesha was so easy to love, I think, too, because, she was always gentle, nice, and I was always, butch and sad and mean in the corner and always the honest one and didn't hold anything back. And that's always been that way. Even in science class, when Keesha was getting made fun of, I switched seats with her and took care of the white little bully, and his ass ain't never bothered her again. Yeah, and this was 8th grade.
She slammed his head down in the desk. I think we was watching October Sky. If anybody remember that teacher, that science teacher, I love that man, but he played October Sky too many damn times that I knew just about every script. What that man was, Homer? Well, whatever his name was, Homer, whatever.
You saw the movie so many damn times, why you can't remember it?
Because I done blocked it out. That's why. But anyways, Homer, whatever his name was in October Sky, that was so beautiful because so the bully kept interrupting me watching this movie. He thought it was so funny to pull on my hair, and I would turn around and say, stop. And he still just do it again. And one day, and then the white teacher I had, he got up and stood up and told this boy, do you need me to place you in a different seat? If you don't stop bothering her, I'm going to put you in suspension. But whatever, he didn't.
On purpose, he was in the same class, but he on purpose did not move our seats. No, he didn't. So I was in the back class. Keisha was at the beginning of the class. It had to be at least 30 seats up in there. But it was a science class or some crap like that. Yeah, but the long story short is that Keisha's always been a nice one. I've always been the rough around the edges, straightforward one.
But this would happen. What happened one day? One day we had the same outfit on, and Miesha said, "This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna switch seats with you." And don't say nothing. And she still say today, she'll say when she got a plan, she say, and don't say nothing. And I'm like, okay. And then so one day there was another movie. It must have been a Friday because the teacher always liked to put on movies. And he would be doing his work in the front because he would sit, his desk was on the corner to the right. And then so this little bastard, my bad, this little, Caucasian boy that was pulling my hair, he tried to do it to my sister, and she turned around and she slammed that boy down in his desk so fast that he was crying, and when the teacher did not see, because the teacher was facing down grading papers, and so there was nobody that said nothing, because when Miesha got up, she was telling everybody to shh. She was telling people to shh. Now look, they scared because Miesha used comeback moves on that man, on that boy. And so it was very funny, and he ain't never messed with me again. He apologized, by the way. He apologized. He apologized when the lights came on and the mood was off. He said, "I'm so sorry."
It's safe to say we know that Miesha is the rough one. She's already acknowledged that she's the rough one. Yeah, but I want to transition because that's good. People get to know y'all and know how y'all came up with each other. I really wanted to share, my story in connection to y'all and why y'all are even here on the Yes Chef podcast. So, I started something long ago that I didn't really act upon until this year alone. And for years I was doing a lot of chef work. I was cooking, So I've been into cooking for some time now. Like
Yes, and you
I'm
a
a,
good cook.
I've been a chef for 12 years, and I stepped away from the industry of preparing food for affluent people.
Really?
Yeah, because I wanted to prepare food for, I didn't want to work with affluent people. I wanted to influence people.
Oh, that's good.
So I wanted to influence, you know, people people moving closer toward a better life. The food I cooked was French American, and when you cook French American cuisine, gourmet food, it's really honestly tasteless food.
So, yeah. So, what do you mean tasteless?
Tasteless meaning the food doesn't have really if you go to anywhere you go to Europe, it's almost it's not a hidden secret that their food is flavorless. They don't invest in salt and season and stuff like that. And that's not me ragging on them. That is actually well known of them, that they don't particularly focus on flavors and seasoning. They focus on presentation, and texture and all that stuff. But seasoning and flavor is a big part of food. But in order to introduce seasoning and flavors into your food, you got to be careful with what you're introducing, because these are the things that we add to the things that we add to our food is what's going to cause whatever sickness or something we're going through, whatever disease, whatever illness we may be having. So it's usually about what you read on the back of labels, additives. It's usually about the additives, what's added, these ingredients. So long story short, I left the cooking field,
And can I interrupt you here?
Go for it.
What year did you start cooking? Because I asked you that the other day, and you were like, "Oh, I've been cooking for a long time."
I've been cooking since I started in 2002 and I ended in 2012.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. So 2002 to 2012, that's when I was doing my thing. And
So we're gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna be interviewing Marcus Clark. So from 2002 to 2012, what made you decide that I want another path for my life? That this is not what I want to do.
okay, we're not going to turn it around, but I will answer that question. I will answer that beautiful question. That's a beautiful question, but we're going to keep it open. We can all ask questions.
We're gonna keep it open.
We're gonna keep it open. But listen though. So everything about the food industry. When I started, it was because that was the only job available. That was the only job available for me. I couldn't get no other job. That's all I could get. The food industry for me was not by choice. It was because I had to.
Really?
So, yeah, I had to get into food. Because I had no other. I had no other. My background stopped me from getting jobs that I really wanted.
College education or a degree.
All kinds of things. I didn't have the degrees. I didn't have the schooling. I got criminal background history. All kinds of things stopped me from getting a job. So the best thing I could get was a cooking job. But lo and behold, I took the cooking because it was something natural that came to me because my mom was a cook, not a chef, but my mom's a cook. So.
Poem you had. I love the poem that you, speaking of moms, sorry to sneak in, but remember you said your poems ain't gonna bring you money.
Yeah, mama said.
That was the first poem I loved that I heard. But
my mama said what she said. Yeah, see these poems is gonna get you out of a home. Yeah. Long story short, cooking has been just something that came natural to me because my mama was a cook. I used to watch my mama. I used to watch my mama. Listen, I used to watch my mama from, a child, on Thanksgiving. My mama would make, because I'm the second oldest of 8 children. Wow. And my mama would make Thanksgiving for her family, but she would make a triple portion. So everything she made for us, she made 2 more times. Wow. And she did that for an elderly lady and her kids, because an elderly lady ended up raising her daughter's kids. And then a bunch of the orphans from the neighborhood. would come around my home.
Orphans, you say?
Orphans, yeah, the little children's with no,
Yes.
that's why I said.
I know what orphans
That's
mean.
that's why I said in my poems. That's why I said in my.
orphans mean. I know that.
That's why I said in my poems for those children with no guidance residing in single parent homes.
Yes.
So when you look at the things my mama did, when you look at my poems, first of all, you see kind of like what my you see a lot of my upbringing in that poetry.
Yes.
So cooking has basically been something natural to me. It's like ingrained in me because I watched my mama do it for other people too. And I sat back and looked at it and I said, whoa, this is actually where Yes Chef really started. Yes Chef really started by watching my mama when she did it for the community. And she did it and my mama didn't call herself no community activist. My mama wasn't no advocate.
She just did it.
Because
it was the right thing to do.
You know what I'm saying?
It was the right thing
And
to do.
so I want to talk about now what we're doing with this, while we're here, and what we're doing is Yes Chef. A lot of people need to know what Yes Chef is and what y'all involvement is in Yes Chef. So Yes Chef is a nonprofit organization. I'm a founder of Yes Chef, and Yes Chef is the terminology actually comes from the restaurant kitchen.
Yes Chef Village.
Yes Chef Village, but Yes Chef comes from the kitchen, the restaurant. When the chef is always yelling out orders, you say like yes sir, but we say yes chef.
Yes Chef.
And so I took that. I said, when I left the kitchen, I said I want to do something meaningful with my life with this, more purposeful.
That's good.
I want to do something, but I didn't know what to come up with, so I sat with this word Yes Chef, and I came up with this acronym. It's called Youth Enrichment Service, Children's Healthier Eating Foundation. And that's how Yes Chef became.
Can you repeat that about the foundation?
Youth Enrichment Service, Children's Healthier Eating Foundation.
I like that.
That's
good.
That's what Yes Chef.
We love to serve. I think a lot of people that know us intimately, like know me and Keesha as a whole, as a package, they know that we always do annual Friendsgivings, and throughout the year, our love language is food because I care. Even if I'm broke, I still put it on. We done it. And the thing is that food is a love language to people. Like you give people food because you love them and you naturally care for them and you want them to go out and feel nourished and stuff. You can't really get things done if you're worried about your stomach, and you can't really focus because you haven't eaten. So, and if the more junk you put in your system, your brains are like messed up. So I think it's a good thing that you're doing Yes Chef. It's needed.
Yes Chef is needed, but more so, Yes Chef is wanted because the community that we serve, the Black, Indigenous, people of color community, is people that are disenfranchised by their situations, basically to no fault of their own. One of the things that when I grew up, I tell this all the time, being from a family of 8, we never, ever one time went out to eat. My family.
Wow.
My family is.
Story, Marcus, you told me that, and that was heartfelt. But it's actually true. It's like people don't understand that day to day. Like I lived off of food stamps. My mother was a single mother of 3 kids. Okay, and then she also had some criminal background. And she still got her GED when she got back. She got a GED. But then when she wanted to go back into nursing because she had left that, she couldn't. And that broke her for real. It broke her when she went out there to the tech college in Lakeland, Polk County, whatever. And they said, ma'am, do you not know that you can't apply for, you can't enroll in these classes? My mom probably would have been a damn good registered nurse. Because she was on point with numbers. But anyway, people don't know the struggle behind everything. But, we lived on low income a lot. There was times we didn't even have snacks in the house. So what we did, we took Rice Krispie treats. No, Rice Krispie. We ain't even have Rice Krispie treats. We didn't even have that kind of money to buy no Rice Krispie treats or no brand name stuff. Okay, we were going to like the local grocery store. And my grandmother, at times when she didn't have the money, they offered her a credit at the grocery store. All right. Now, that was back then. It was a community store. And so there was times I didn't even have no snacks. That Miesha and I, we had peanut butter. we had these like Rice Krispie cereal. It wasn't Rice Krispie, but it was the brand, and we made peanut butter balls out of that, and that was like the best thing that we did. And
struggle and things like that. Like, I think that when people meet Miesha and Keesha, they just see like, oh, they are a whole vibe and this and that. But we wasn't that way growing up. Like, we was sad and poor, and dealing with parents who rather be in jail because they want to walk the streets and do drugs with their friends than raise their children. But they grew up out of that. They're great people now. I love my dad. So the thing is, like, with that being said, you have to remember, like, people come from those things. It's not about the trajectory of that stuff, because people can always evolve and be better. Like, Marcus Clark, he's taken the things that he had pain with, with the 8 children and not going out to dinners and things. And he's evolving and doing this great thing for low income families because he has empathy for that. So when you see Miesha and Keesha, we vibing, we laughing, we giggling, we been extra because we didn't have that back in the day. We were sad kids. So that's why we're the way we are. And I don't care.
But this is the thing I want people to know. Yes, Chef Village is solving a lot of issues. And see, that's the thing they need to hear. They need to hear y'all's story and y'all pain. They needed to hear that. What y'all ate. They needed to hear like Trick Daddy said, collard greens ate mayonnaise sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need to, they need to hear that, because
Green egg rolls.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we had to, we used to put peanut butter, we used to put toast in the oven with peanut butter and eat peanut butter toast.
I did that.
We ate peanut butter out the jar. We did it all. We had some low poor moments, because my family and us, both grew up off the stamps. My mama was raised on the government assistance and subsidized housing. And so, Yes Chef truly is born out of the, they say out of our greatest pain comes our greatest, success. Yes.
And I want to also say memory that my mom at the time, when she didn't have a car, because, car got her in trouble a lot. So we used to go up to it was called Super Choice Foods. We would go up with the grocery cart. Okay, let me tell you something. My mom was not afraid to take all our groceries that we went to the grocery store. When we got food stamps, she would pack all that cart up. And guess what? We would hold the buggy, and she'd go across the street. Like, she was not afraid. She would go across the street. Because our house was down the street. Our house was down the road. I was embarrassed. But she brought that. She did what she had to do now. Okay, because she couldn't afford taxes all the time,
And there was no Uber.
And it was no Uber.
So, all right. So I want to say, before we end the show today, I do want to get them to know about Yes Chef Village. We got to talk about Yes Chef Village.
Yes, we do.
Yes Chef Village, the nonprofit, is a movement that's solving a lot of these issues. So y'all two now, I'm gonna tell them now that you both have joined on the team of Yes Chef Village, and Yes Chef Village
Gonna be the best thing that hit Pinellas County and Tampa Bay. And hey, Yes Chef Village is going to happen in every other state that don't have that type of program.
we need support. Like, people need to hear support like that.
We're going to do some startups if necessary, just like these restaurants go and teach people how to do things. Well, we're going to go too, because we're going to be that big. We're going to go to different states and help them do a Yes Chef Village.
Yeah. Well, Yes Chef is already being called to go places, and we just started already being called in. And the thing is, having voices like y'all on the team does this movement some good, because y'all already know how to. Y'all already are in the space where y'all talk a lot. Y'all do poetry, y'all do curating, y'all speak, y'all do MCs, and y'all are activists. So these two are in the community, and Yes Chef Village is about community. It is about culture. It is about Commonwealth. It's about bringing people of lower income status together to sit at the dinner table and heal. around food.
Like
You
that's
see,
where it starts at. My
it's
grandmother, when she was still living, God bless her soul, her thing was dinners. You know, like she was feeding people in the neighborhoods too, and we learned a lot of her recipes, and we do it for our friends. Like when I went out to the military for 6 to 7 long years, they were great. But I would host like family meals for all 20 of my soldier friends. And I was surprised that all of them came. Because normally when you RSVP, you think only a few people. I'm talking about everybody came out. Because like you don't have that in the military. You're always on missions and stuff, but it's very rarely that people have dinners with their soldiers and things like that. And so the camaraderie builds like that. Like we about to go to deployment. We need to sit down and have a meal together and not be scattered. And it's important for all people to sit at a table, have conversations, have that unity. Like that, we're missing that these days, you know. Everybody get their food and they go in other places of the house.
and normally people don't talk no more at the dinner table. One thing I want to point out, growing up when I was a child, right? And in the introduction, it always says when I was a kid, right? When I was a kid, we never ate out. I reiterate that we never ate out one time, and we never had a family vehicle. We never had a family vehicle. We lived very hard. But here's the thing, though. That forced us inward. That forced us to stay home and eat. That forced us to sit at the table. That forced us, and that taught me village mentality. It taught me family. It taught me how to connect and be in a community with 8 other people with you. So you want to talk about living in a village? I really was living in a home, a village home, because we didn't get the opportunities to go out. And the thing about Yes Chef is, what I love about Yes Chef is how it's solving a lot of these economical issues with our people and these medical issues with our people is that it's taking childhood diabetes, it's taking childhood obesity out of the equation. But you know what also it's doing? It's taking mental health out of the equation. Where we struggle a lot with, as children, we grew up seeing divorce. We grew up seeing our families fighting. We don't even know that. We don't even know like the struggle of that mentally, how that affects us as adults. Seeing that, I did study on I did a study way back when I was doing childhood leadership. I did a study on divorce and how it affects a child mentally. It's one of the worst things that can happen to a child. You know what I'm saying? And so I studied that. I looked at our situation in the black community, and I realized we got it the worst when it comes to mental health, when it comes to diabetes, when it comes to obesity. Because, number one, we're surrounded in neighborhoods or our neighborhoods are surrounded by restaurants and grocery stores that don't have no real food in them. So we're dealing with malnutritional food with no nutritional value. What Yes Chef is doing and how it's answering and solving that problem is our mission statement is about food naturally raised, organically grown, and locally sourced.
I like that.
And that's how we heal, right? And that's how we're gonna heal. Every time someone ate my food, I'm not toot my own horn here, toot, right? But every time someone ate my food, they say how good it is, but they talk about how good it made them feel. That's important. Yeah, you see, a lot of people. You can say it tastes good, but does it feel good?
Oh yeah.
When food feels good, that's the difference.
Add to that, I do agree, because when I had that nice little sandwich you made over there at Enoch Davis, doing that barbershop book club meetup when they were doing that over there, that was good though. You're right, because there's some food or meals you eat that don't fill you up. You know what I mean? Like you'll eat it, and then you're like, damn, I'm still empty. Like I don't feel full. And so normally when I feel like that means I need to go home and cook a home cooked meal. You know what I'm saying? Like you spend a week without a home cooked meal, and if you do that already, I'm sorry. But if you spend a whole week without eating a good meal, then it's something biologically changes in your body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. No, something biologically changes in your body because food is related to us on a biological level. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So we can Yes Chef Village is going to do a lot of healing work through the Village Supper. It's going to do a lot of healing work. Village Supper happens every Friday, and we set up a table. We run this table real long, and we bring families out. We bring people from the lower income communities out.
And everything, you know it.
Curated table scene, your flowers, vases. That's where I come into.
Yes.
I'm gonna be decorating it, fine, dining it out.
Yes, and
Tot.
on the top, the top. What is
Tot
what is
gonna be an annual thing. The tot.
Right?
We got tables over tablets.
Tables over tablets.
And what's the other one? Talking over texting.
Yeah, talking over texting.
That's another program of Chef Village, but we won't go too far into that. Right now, I want to stop right here and really talk and say I have these 3 questions that I love to ask at the end of every show, and both of y'all can answer. I love to ask these 3 questions to every guest.
At the same time,
But before I ask those questions, I want to tell them that if you are interested in anything that we are doing with Yes Chef Village, they can go to Yes Chef Village everywhere. But we're gonna get to how they can find you and how they can find you after the questions, okay? So for the first question I always love to ask is if you, and this is for both of y'all, if you could sit down with anybody over a meal and have a conversation with, who would that person be?
it will be my grandmother, Maggie Joseph. She is the beat to my heart, the motion that moves in my veins. I love her, and she's my guardian angel. I feel like now that she's gone and everything, because that was my real mother. She raised us. I feel like even though now that she's gone up in heaven, that she's even more powerful now because she was already moving like serendipity and everything. So I know she got the works up there. Like she can move mountains for us down here because she's up there now.
Now, that's a good one. Since I'm the activist, like you say I am, I don't really like to give myself too many titles. I just do the work, that's needed. And it's nice to have titles, but it's also nice to put your hands where your mouth is also and do the work. Because titles ain't everything, especially if you ain't out there doing it, then you don't need to claim the title. But anywho, the person that I would like to sit down with, I thought about maybe Dr. Martin Luther King, but then Toni Morrison came up. I would love to talk to her, man. I would love to talk to her and ask her what was her motivation to write the story books, the poetry book. She's a spoken word artist too, and she didn't care about what came out her mouth. And it was like this. It was like either it's how you interpret it, it's how you react to it. But I done said what I done said. That's I would really, really love to meet Toni Morrison.
I want to ask you your second question. Here's your second question. I always get 3. I ask these 3. If a chef came to you and said, "Hey, I want to introduce a special on the menu. I'm out of ideas. But I'm coming to you for an idea. What favorite dish of yours for that special would you give him?" I'm gonna go Keesha first.
Go for me first, okay? I love seafood. I haven't made this yet, but it's in a vision. I would do my grandmother loved to make dressing, right? But I would probably do a crab, shrimp, lobster dressing. All right? And that crust going to be buttery. All right? And maybe some ayola. I can't even pronounce ayola sauce on the side.
All right, since y'all are writers, y'all are poets, y'all are artists, here's my last question to y'all. If you can recommend one book out of all your books, your favorite books, any book, if you can recommend one book for people to read.
My book I read, it was one of my first books. It's called A Tuesday with Mari. And it was of philosophy. And this reporter, he used to come see this man who had Lou Gehrig's disease, and he was dying, Lou Gehrig's disease. a rare, whatever, Lou Gehrig, I'm just renaming stuff up here. I'm just renaming stuff. But I read the book. No, I read the book. Now, if you know what? But I am working on my pronunciation, okay? But hey, that don't stop me though. But Tuesday with Maury was a good movie. It was a movie also. It came out later. And it taught me about philosophy and death. Yes, so that's a good book. It's a good book read.
I'm still reading Ibram Kenny. If anybody's familiar with him, he's a great activist. He wrote books on anti-racist baby. He even has a color book out. And I'm reading the book called Stranded from the Beginning. And it has like about 5 chapters in it. It's a pretty thick book, probably like 300 to 400 pages maybe. You can listen on Audible if you need to. But it talks about the history of the United States. It even talks about Cotton Gin, which is the one who created racism and a few other things. And it's like a good blueprint if you really want to, figure out how all this works, And then another book I would suggest is Power Dynamics. Okay? Well, okay, fine. Here you go.
Yeah, so one book. You give people choices. They can be like, I don't know what to use now. You got to give them just one choice.
Stranded from the Beginning, Ibram Kenny.
Ibram Kenny. I know Ibram Kenny. Okay, so we're going to end the show, but I want to end it right. I want to make sure that everybody knows how to find you both, where can they get any tickets to some of y'all shows you're curating coming up, and what are y'all getting ready to do for this year?
All right. Well, you can always Google Miesha, Miesha, Brundridge, Brundridge, or you can find me on Facebook. I have 2 pages. I'm always updating all the things that are going on. And as far as like portrait shows go, always check the Studio 620's website because they'll always have it. Unless I do something like a pop-up or something like that, which I'm doing at Tumbalo this Sunday. At 10 a.m., we will be discussing Roe versus Wade with Gloria Munoz, Maureen McDowell, Sam Obeid, some of the biggest hitters in poetry locally right now. So, and we also have a poetry show coming up at the Studio 620, February 24th, the Black History Show I do annually, and this one will be called Shades Off BLM. Now, my book release, and that's also Marcus Clark will also be in that show, the February 24th one. Now, my personal book release party will also be February 21st, 7 to 9 at Urban Drinkery. It is a whole vibe. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to have a DJ, music, and then some readings and signings. Come out. You won't be disappointed.
Nice. What about you?
Keesha King on Instagram is Keesha King. That's Keesha King, King. But to make sure that you make the events, you want to check out my sister Miesha with Poetry Is Me, because I'm a social person, but I don't post like that.
All right. Well, y'all already know this is Omaka. We're here. I'm here with Yes Chef, and I am going to tell you that you can find us every Friday for Yes Chef Village. February 3rd is our next one. We going to be running on Fridays, and you're always welcome to volunteer if you just go to yeschef.com, or you can email me at yeschefvillage@gmail.com. And everything that you need to know, just type in Yes Chef Village. It'll pop up. And so I like to thank the 2 twins, Keesha and Miesha. And we like to say welcome you to Chef Village. Welcome to the Yes Chef Village. And this is the team right here. We're gonna be out in the community. Y'all know where to find us. Look me up on Instagram. There you have it, guys. What a beautiful show. Thank you, Miesha and Keesha, the identical twins, for all of your energy, for all of your joy that you brought to the Yes Chef podcast, and giving the Yes Chef podcast family something good to chew on. And I like to say thank you for joining the Yes Chef Village team. I can't really say thank you enough for what you do, what you bring, and what you have already done and accomplished thus far with the Yes Chef Village family and the Yes Chef Village Foundation. We like to just say thank you to the listener for listening and tuning in. Download this podcast, and always keep in mind, Don't lose sight of your vision. Don't lose sight of your goals. And don't lose sight of your mission. You came here to do a great thing because you are a great thing. And remember to always stay hungry. Food discrepancy is weaponry because every child deserves to live a full life. See you next time.